Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday, and welcome to another episode of Tea and Coffee with Paula and
Jay. Ooh, I just got much lighter all of a sudden. Hold on, let me try to
you
fix
did
that.
a little bit more.
I know why. I know why, because I killed some more of the backlight.
Why'd you do that for, Willis?
Because I'm a silly man. Because the sun was starting to come in, and it was starting to make a little line on the wall. But is that better?
Yeah, but now your right side is quite well lit.
I can't block the sun.
Can't block this. Oh, yeah, you need blackout curtains like I've got.
That's what I just did, and then it got too bright for us. Anyways, let's just move on. So, hello.
Yeah. Hello. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all bright white light on the right.
And you are in Ontario. How's that?
I'm terrible. People are great. Government sucks. It was very cold when I came here. Now minus 15 or so. Now, normally that's not very cold for February, but I just left plus 10. So.
Yeah, exactly. And the same thing. We had like plus 6, 7.
6, 7.
Yesterday. Today we've got like plus 6 or plus 5. So I just checked the forecast up to Sunday. Still plus temperatures during the day. The minuses are getting higher at night. But yeah, we've got some really decent plus temperatures still and sunshine. So it's going to be, I'm really looking forward to at least dealing with that while you're away.
Yeah, and I brought the mild weather because it's going to be more mild now, starting today and on. So the rest of my time out here, it should be pretty mild.
You're welcome, Ontario.
Yes, you're welcome, Ontario. Always taking from the West.
Yes,
people don't like when I talk about East-West stuff, but it's only the people in East that say something.
You've only been there for a couple of days. How has the conversation, if anything, been regarding the Alberta independence movement?
Just with our friend Martin, who signed yesterday. The only person I can't talk to that about. Maybe made a passing comment to somebody that I'm from Alberta, that place that wants to leave, type of thing. But most of the conversations around here have been, well, at church yesterday, I went to Martin's church yesterday. Really cool, by the way. Not as cool as ours, but a lot more music and stage. But a couple of people there kind of like, hey, where are you from? The future nation of Alberta, those kind of things. But most of it has been about Sean, because almost 100 people yesterday we saw at the event.
Lovely. Go and tell us about that, because there was
let's for Martin update, because I saw him yesterday. I spent almost a whole day with him yesterday. And I did not tell him a thing about what was going on because I wanted to surprise him. Let you tell him.
All is well. Like it says, on our place, it's pretty quiet, but running smoothly. And at BT's place, same thing. Animals are still upright, eating well, drinking well, and trying to get them to enjoy the sunshine. The pigs do not want to leave the barn. And I'm like, come on, get out. Get your vitamin D. Go stretch your legs. Go eat some grass that's now exposed because of the melt. But there's ice everywhere.
Yeah,
ice is everywhere, and you know me. I'm not a fan of walking on it.
You're funny. Like you just won't. Like I'm like walk on it. You got to learn. You got to build those muscle memory in your legs so you can walk on ice. Folks, she is funny. She's like a out of touch penguin when she's walking.
Yeah, I walk like ET. Just very, very apprehensive along the ice, because at least penguins they know how to deal with it. I am hilarious. I'll admit that, walking on ice. I'm such like an old biddy walking along, like really.
No, old biddies are absolutely fine on ice. You're different. This is not a normal Canadian thing. Must be because you're African. But yeah, when there's a slippery ground, you are very cautious. And she will walk way around the ice just to avoid it. It's cute.
Yeah. I will take the long route to not walk on ice, to walk on snow, or to walk on thawed ground. Yes, I shall. I will do that. Yep. But at BT's place, it's very, very icy along the used area. And so what you're going to do, you just got to deal with it. But no, all is but Claire, Paula waddles. Yes, I do waddle.
Yeah, her feet go out, and then she's like as maximum stability as possible. It's cute.
What can I say? I did not grow up. Yeah, I did not grow up walking on this type of surface. The only time I was
You like
ever
to
on
learn, babe.
trips
You
to
can
the ice
walk on
rink,
it.
and even then I have really weak ankles. So yeah, it's been a learning curve for me since coming to Canada and having to walk on slippery surfaces.
And drive.
Hilarious. And drive, yeah. Our driveway, oi, slow and steady, moving along the curves. But yeah, our driveway is a nice rink as well. We can't walk on it,
It's okay.
but it's melting. So there is that during the day. At least it's melting.
Yeah, out
But
here it's
that's
still pretty.
sensible as well.
Yeah, everything's pretty dry and cold, but should be warming up a bit. I don't think it's going to go all the way to melting out here or not, but it's going to be low minus, much better.
Yeah, a little bit more comfortable to be if you're outside to be more comfortable.
hmm Yeah, I was having as soon as I walked out of the airport to get to the rental car. I don't know why they don't connect it so you can stay inside, but they don't. I go outside and oh, I'm going to button this thing up, and then good thing we're in the hoodie. And I've been softened for this winter because of Alberta.
Yeah. But yeah, so what was it was good event. How was Dan? It was obviously must have been lovely to see him.
Oh, for sure. But we'll get into that because there's several posts about Nan. But yeah, I did get one signature from an Albertan, to be very clear. A lot of people on my posts are like, you can't get Ontarians. I'm like, I know. I'm well aware of that. They got to prove their physical address, even if there's somebody we know. And he did.
Yeah, go on.
No, he had his utility bill with him that had both the PO box and the physical address on it. So that was good to go, plus his ID for Alberta. Because look, maybe you guys don't realize it, but some Albertans travel for work, pleasure, leisure. They get out there and travel. And sometimes they can't get back in time by May to go ahead and do that. You're still a Albertan. You still have a physical address that you live at. So totally legit. The rules are you have to be a resident of Alberta. He is. Has to be 18 plus. He very much is. So much so that when we went to a restaurant yesterday for the seniors meal, pricing, they didn't ask him for ID. I felt bad for him.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that, Martin.
Yeah, he's like, would you like ID? They're like, no, we're good. Oh, boy. And then you also have to be a Canadian citizen and eligible to vote. All of those things are checked off. So it doesn't matter where you are. In fact, the Elections Alberta doesn't even require any additional things other than that. So we did check. Of course, if you're an Albertan traveling abroad, you can still sign. So we got one.
Yeah, and we got a message sent to us saying, you need to fix it, you need to take it down because, just because you're born in Alberta doesn't make you Albertan. And I'm like,
it's not what we're doing.
Politely, yes, we know there are requirements. You need to show appropriate forms of ID that you reside. So I explained, but yes, no, we're fully aware. It's not just because you're born in Alberta makes you Albertan. No, you need to be a resident of.
Yeah, no, somebody asked that on X as well. My wife was born in Alberta. Can she sign? I'm like, no, I'm sorry. It has nothing to do with where you're born. It has where you live. And yes, people travel. Totally allowed. It's like, you travel, you can't be part of a referendum. That's not the case at all.
Just another restriction they're trying to put on us Albertans.
Yeah, and then somebody posted, there was such an idiot. Sorry for using that kind of word this morning, but, oh, look, they're traveling to get money. You can't make this stuff up. I'm like, you just did. Because no, I'm not traveling to get money. So you absolutely just made this up. Crazy.
Yep, not collecting any funds.
Nope, don't need to. Collecting signatures. I don't need to collect funds. That's a different organization altogether.
Yep. What are you going to do? Some people are choosing to stay ignorant or unaware or just be mean, quite honestly.
Yep. And instead of saying, hey, why don't you stay in Alberta or in Canada? Here are some good reasons to stay in Canada. I can't even give an example.
Not seen a single one.
No, they're just being rude. They're making it way easier. Like, yep, this is why. All right, let's get into the news because there's a lot of posts since Friday when we had Curtis on. So Curtis was awesome. You guys loved him a lot. You always do. So we'd like to have him on. There's going to be several guests that I think we should bring on more frequently because there's just so much to get through. And Curtis is one of them. So go check out that episode from Friday. It was a lot of fun. We were talking about infiltration into groups, the disruptors. We got into a little bit of homesteading, tiny bit. But yeah, go check out the episode with him because he's got a big brain on him. He's part of the BC Prosperity Project, and working really hard. The group is growing super quick. And that's kind of what spurred on this conversation. Was he reached out and was like, oh man, I think there's going to be some provocateurs in trying to infiltrate and sabotage our organization. Like, yep, that's going to happen. And one thing led to another. I shared that Antifa thing that we received online. We saw that online, and also shared that document I got sent to us about the white supremacists in Alberta, which was really just a recall petition canvasser spreading misinformation about the independence canvassing. But yeah, and also he used to be kind of in that group. We got a lot of people from the left that kind of woke up and moved on towards the right. So we had him on, and then actually the day before we had Melanie Bennett, who's also another refugee. Yep. So we've been packing up our stage with people that used to be on the left. Lots of fun.
Yeah, and I also want to add, I think it's also, when you say the people who used to be left, I think we also grew up. Because I think as I've gotten older and my priorities and principles have changed, yes, it has automatically shifted really to be more conservative leaning instead of liberal minded.
Well, that's because you have things to conserve and you have futures to think about. When you're liberal minded, it's not a future thinking mindset at all. It's a spend now, we'll always have it type of mindset, socialism. Where conservative, it's literally in the name, conserve. So you want to conserve things like your wealth, your future prosperity, your children's future. You want to conserve all that. That's kind of where the name came from. But let's go ahead with some of the news. So Jacques Virat, how do you say that? Sings Adieu?
Jacques Virat.
Okay, sure. So the trucker that killed several hockey players in the Humboldt Broncos crash in 2018. I'm sure we all remember that one now. He has lost his claim to stay in Canada as a refugee. So good. I believe he's going to have to serve out his time first before he leaves, but he can't stay when he's done. So one day he's going to be India's problem. It's a rare win, but is it? Like, I'm glad that he can't stay here once he's released, which is great. But until then, we're going to be covering his living expenses. And then when he goes back to India, I'm sure they're not going to have probation or anything. He'll just get on with his life after he took so many young ones.
Yeah, terrible. Yeah, I remember that, unfortunately, that time happened.
Yeah. The shot DVD is now available, so you can pre-order it. The shipping will start at the end of February after we do several of the screenings. Because we're also selling the DVD, so we're going through them pretty quick. But we'll be shipping them starting at the end of February or early March. So this is a pre-order. And you can get that by going to supportsean.ca. Click the link, fill it out, and away you go. DVD is $30, and then there'll be a shipping fee for these ones, or you can find it at one of our events for $30. You save the shipping.
Yeah, and at the events, you can also go to supportsean.ca to see the screening schedule and purchase tickets.
Absolutely. And we'll be updating that over the next few days, weeks, with all the other locations. There's going to be a lot more locations in Ontario. Dean probably will get all the way up to Montreal to do one. And then I'll be from Lethbridge all the way to Grand Prairie. Grand Prairie is already set, so go ahead and put that in your calendar for February 27th. It's a Friday, I believe. And we'll be there doing screening. So put that in your calendar now. But we'll be doing Lethbridge shortly after I get back. I may take a day or two off, but we'll find some venues and get her done.
Yep. Monday, 16th, you're home with us. It's family day.
I've been told. I arrive on the 14th, hang out with you in the church on the 15th, stay with you on the 16th, and then probably head down to Lethbridge on the 17th, somewhere around there. All right. All is not lost. All is not lost. I'm going to play this little video for you all. It's a young boy, for those of you listening on the podcast. He's wearing a blue shirt, and he's got a big belly.
Are you pregnant?
What? I'm a boy. I can't be pregnant. I'm copying Dad.
Oh my God.
So there's your chuckle for the morning. At least he knows he can't be pregnant because he's a boy. So great, smart little man. And yeah, I get pretty close to dad. I'm getting there too. Not that extreme, but I got my dad bod now.
Yes, you do.
But that's
Yes, you
2.5
do.
million views, 114,000 likes for our good friend Jack. So he sent that out. Yes, this is perfect. What? I'm a boy. Good little man. We share that with you.
Mhm.
So Leduc was awesome.
It
So
was.
this was yeah, you were there. This was the final date on the 5-day tour with Kathy Flett and Dr. Hodgkinson. This was a lot of fun, this tour. They really, really did well. Great messaging out of both of them. They complemented each other quite well. And they didn't even really know each other before this tour, but they're two peas in a pod. If you didn't get a chance to check us out in Leduc, today, 6 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Eastern, we'll be restreaming the stream that was captured by Max from Freedom Calendar. Max streamed it as well, but it's also got some of this other fluff in there. You're like, are we live? Is it good? Check, all that stuff in there. Cut it down to just under 2 hours. So we'll be able to stream that tonight. So stay tuned for that. You can watch the whole thing. I've also improved all the audio, and I hope you guys enjoy it, but it was fantastic. A huge high five to Max for that. Yeah. And also stay tuned as our next Alberta Independence Talk tour will be with Marty up north and Angela the Brave. Actually the better half of Kathy when they tour around. The two of them like to tour around. And this will start Monday, March 2nd in Olds. We're working on that venue right now, and we'll release some more in the Calgary area. So Cochrane, Airdrie, and probably West Calgary. So we'll be getting some more of these dates and locations out for you for the next part of the Alberta Independence Tour. Because of all February, I'll be doing the Levine show, releasing The Shot, Sean Hartman's story. So starting back up in March will be the next time we do some more independent talks. But it was a great showing. We filled that room up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it was good. Lots of good questions. Everyone was interactive. So, and I haven't seen him in the chat yet, but we got to meet one of our Facebook viewers. He came over to introduce himself, and it was lovely to finally meet him, because he's always been a good contributor, good conversations and comments coming from him. So it was great to meet him.
No, it's always great when someone comes up and says, "Hey, I am XYZ handle online." Like, oh, cool. We get to put a face to it. And you're the one that does a lot of the chatting, so I sent him your direction. I'm like, Paula will probably know who you are, because I'm not in the chat, but you are.
Yep,
and sure enough, I think you recognized you. Yeah, and it's always good to see who shows up to these. A lot of familiar faces. So we have several people that come to a lot of our events, including Kevin, who ran for the United Party. No, Christian Heritage Party.
Yes.
He pops up all the time to these events now. And just for a little history, him and I ran for Parkland. Now, I did say to the crowd, "Oh, look, here's Kevin. He ran against me in the election." And then he came up to me. He goes, "Actually, we ran together because we're fighting the system." You're right. You're actually right.
Yeah, that was really nice of you to say that.
Yeah, no, he's a good guy. So connected him with a couple other people from the audience, because he really wanted to start getting prepared for a constitutional convention and try and participate in it. So there's a few people already meeting up, trying to think that way, thinking that far ahead. But great questions there. They'll all be released today at 6 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Eastern. You go ahead and watch that tonight. And then a couple more pictures. Max is always taking a shot of his electronics, so people know how hard he's working, and he is. When we showed up there, he was all ready to go. Had things, speakers and microphones, cameras. It was a really good job, Max. Good to see you there. And then, of course, Barry. I'm on my way for the first screening. So as I was getting on the plane, I posted this, and it was awesome last night, or yesterday afternoon. We'll get to that in a bit, because there's a lot of pictures coming up. Great job on people that are doing things like this, just setting up somewhere random, putting up a sign and a flag, a couple flags. To this gentleman wasn't actually doing any signing. He's just having conversations. So Freedom, stop and talks. They're just having conversations with people. This is wonderful to see. If people are excited about sharing the information, the reasons why they're passionate about it, and they're just setting up and having conversations. So good job. And then we met John. We finally met John.
Mhm.
He goes by John Alberta Patriot. He certainly is, and he's an Albertan, and he's a patriot. Really great guy. Enjoyed some dinner with him. He hung around for a bit, recorded some stuff, and then he had to go. But if you see John out and about, go and say hi. I think he's a great guy and a great patriot as well. Good conversations, very curious on what's going on, who's involved, and had lots of questions for the doctor and for Kathy as well. I'm kind of flying through these because there's a lot to catch up on. Stay Free Alberta, if you want to help donate and make an impact, you can go to stayfreealberta.com. I'm sure you got a button over there.
I do. Give me a moment.
Donate, and then you'll be able to do that. This is probably the best way to donate to Stay Free Alberta because there's certain financial requirements. If it's under $50, you don't need to provide any information, but $50 and up, it needs to be registered as a donation. Remember, this is still a political action, and Elections Alberta is involved. And this is why I laughed when that person said, "Oh, look, crossing the country to collect money." No, no.
Nope.
The way to contribute is through stayfreealberta.com. Canvassers don't really do that at all because there are rules, and you also have to register after a certain amount. So the best way to contribute is to donate on their website. So keep that up. Rise of Alberta, again, with these infographics, doing a good job. But what they're highlighting out here is there's really 4 provinces with real active movements now. And shortly, I think Manitoba is going to be popping out of here too, because there's one that's starting up there as well. It looks like Canada, as we know it, may be coming to an abrupt end in the next couple of years. And this wasn't, just out of the blue. A lot of people thought that if there's a 4th term for the Liberals, it was Mark Carney, who's a globalist banker. If he got in somehow, that Canada would be done. Preston Manny was one of the ones that came out and said exactly that before the election. And of course, we were warning you all about Mark Carney a couple years ago now, because it was clear that he was on his way. The WEF selected, and he was on his way. And this is what's happening in Canada. There's a lot of people that don't want to be part of that Liberal mindset. And if you look really closely, these 3 provinces are the ones that vote blue, except for Vancouver. The rest of BC pretty much blue. All of Alberta and a good chunk of Saskatchewan as well. This is because they're kind of done. Conservatives don't have representation. One of the things that Kathy says is they called the election at 8:06. Our polls close at 8. And even if you voted for the winning party, your vote wasn't needed. They already won. So, yeah, it's very tough to say that we are a nation that's fully represented when those are the realities of the situation.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Kathy's presentation. That's why I would recommend anyone who wants to get some information so they can share some of the facts, listen to the stream tonight at 6 p.m. Mountain, because the information Kathy shares is really, really useful with regards to presenting to others, to perhaps let them be more informed on what is Alberta dealing with against the East.
Absolutely true. Yeah, she's a fantastic speaker. She has a lot of history, which is awesome. So there's this guy named Andrew Coyne. How do you say that? Coyne? C-O-Y-N-E?
Yeah. Or maybe
Okay.
even, who knows? Con. Try con.
That's quite fitting. So he made this quote here: "We need to stop legitimizing separation movements that seek to destroy our country." We need to stop? Boy, that's elitist. So that's what I posted here. We need to stop? ? Andrew is calling for stopping the constitutionally protected, Supreme Court validated, and parliamentarily codified democratic process from happening, simply because he doesn't like it. This attitude from the East is why the West wants out. Keep talking, Andy. It helps the undecided Albertans decide to leave. Now, to be clear, the Constitution does not stop any province from going ahead to leave. The Supreme Court in 1998 validated that with one of their it's not a recommendation. It's kind of a decision, but it was a response to the request from the Prime Minister at the time, which was Chrétien, about how can separation happen. And then the parliamentary codified portion is the Clarity Act. So somebody asked, when did the Supreme Court validate this? 1998. Go look it up.
Yeah.
So he doesn't like the democratic process that's legal and allowed, and he wants to try and stop it. I'm not even sure what he means by that.
Yeah,
Was
a
in
lot of
need of
people
it.
don't even realize. No, there's the mechanism is in place. We're not just, stamping our feet saying we don't like it. We want to go, and we're gonna just do it. No, there's a procedure in place, and that we are taking each and every step to fulfill it. Step one: collect the the signatures for the petition. People just don't
And
realize. They just think, "How can you do that?" No, it's there. We can, and we're going to take the steps to do so.
now, the more that they stamp their feet and say, you can't, we won't let you, we
Mhm.
must stop you, you're making our point. Like, you won't even listen to us about a process that's legal. You want to try and stop a legal process that we were
Yeah.
trying to execute. That's exactly why we're in this position. 120 years of that, we're done. Alberta separation account here on X, listing out some of the facts about first and Alberta independence, which is great. Yes, there are treaties. Yes, there are ceded land. We talk about this now on the tour. The reserves are the parts that natives own, according to the Indian Act, but Alberta owns the rest. All the Crown land was transferred to Alberta in 1930, just to be the same as every other province, because Alberta came in after Confederation, not before. It was 1867 was Confederation. 1905 is when Alberta joined. There was a statute passed, the Alberta Natural Resources Act, which provided the same ownership of Crown land that other provinces were enjoying at the time, just to bring them up to speed. So people seem to gloss over those details. But yeah, here we go. Thank you to Alberta Separation for providing an infographic on that. And then I just reposted the "We Need to Stop" from Andrew. And this is kind of what was in my mind.
Yeah.
He seems to think he owns us and that we're a bunch of puppets. But just like in Toy Story, there's a stroke of some paint and we're done. Andy doesn't own us. So we'll just move on there.
Yep.
Here's the first signature in Ontario by an Albertan who's visiting a friend and helping out and wasn't able to sign. We'll be back shortly after May, which is right at the end of the signature process, but he's an Albertan address, and he's allowed to sign. We got to sign.
Mm-hmm.
And then providing some details of where you can find me in Ontario while I'm here, and also very clearly, so I'm not sure what that person reached out to you for, but you need to provide Alberta ID, prove your residence in Alberta, and the same rules apply to everybody who signs. Doesn't matter actually where you're standing on. It matters where you live, what your residence is. And even they say in Elections Alberta, it's your not even primary. There's another name for it, but it's your residence, your normal residence. But in this case, he's out here helping a friend and wanted to sign.
Mm-hmm.
And Marty, he's kind of trying to deal with this guy who's I can't stand this person, who's just rude, just very rude, but won't sit down for a debate. So Marty's saying, okay, smart guy, I'll offer again, come debate me on a space or a podcast. I'll give you the microphone, a large audience. You can give me your best sales pitch to Albertans. Come tell us why we should stay in Confederation. Come win our hearts and minds. I know a lot of great hosts who would be willing to moderate the discussion. He added me to that list. So I said, yeah, absolutely. I'm in. I'll stay on bias, as I too would be interested in hearing this debate. Absolutely. Like, what are the arguments to stay? I actually literally want somebody to sit down and articulate that in a calm, intelligent way. I would absolutely listen to that.
Because we haven't heard it yet.
No, it's just a lot of threats and anger. All right. So then again, thank you to Barry for a great time yesterday. It was very magical. As we did our first screening, there was a standing ovation at the end. Dan was there. It touches him. It absolutely touches him. Like at the very beginning to the very end. You have to actually leave at the part of the film where we visit the grave. It was very touching to see him and Sean for the first time. Some massive, big, huge hugs that were going on there. Dr. David Speaker was there, so thank you for making the drive. Rainey as well. Dean, he traveled a lot, several hours, and many people traveled several hours to be there yesterday. It was great to see.
And I think you just brushed over it. Shauna Carroll, she lost her daughter Auburn, came up from the US.
No, yeah, but she got her hug from Dan. So yes, it was great to see her. And there's a couple more photos coming up where they are. She got that big bear hug. Rebel News was there. So tomorrow, Ugolini was there. Yeah, so we're just under 100 people. So she's very close with that. We had probably about 90 total watching it. You could hear a pin drop in that room as we were going through that documentary. Some good laughs around the Doug Ford when he popped up on the screen, and some of the craziness around what the government was doing, like putting a mask on for 2 seconds and then taking it off, getting caught doing that, or trying to get their masks on before the camera starts, but the camera was rolling already. So some craziness like that, but everybody was engaged and they really enjoyed that documentary. So Ottawa tonight, Bikers Church, 6 p.m. Lots of people showed up and bought tickets at the door, and you'll be able to do that until we reach capacity. But there's a lot of capacity at Bikers Church. So go bring a friend or two. Even if they're not familiar with the story, bring them. That's kind of the point.
Yeah, Bikers Church is a lovely space.
Yeah. So there was 2 of these pictures. So everybody that had a jersey on, we did a big group picture. And the first one was fingers down, and then the second one was fingers up. This was what Dan calls the big pharma salute. And a lot of people are having some good fun there. But right in front of Dan is Shauna and her husband who drove up. There's myself, Dan, there's Dr. Speaker, Dean himself. So it was a really good time to be there. And so many good people showed up.
Yeah, lovely.
And then my post here is to everyone who's responsible for so much harm to so many. We have a message for you. Sean's army is growing, and we won't forget what you did. And that's the most important part of this is we will not forget. So let me just check in with our guest. Go ahead, love. Take the mic.
Yeah, and just to go back to the signing. So yes, thank you, Gloria. And they need your physical address in order to sign. In case that was the word you were trying to think of when you're saying not just your primary. Your physical address is what's needed in order to have you sign the petition. And then let's see.
No, that's a really good point. PO box is not enough, and Martin, that's why you had his utility bill with him. Make sure that he could, even though I know where he lives, I know who he is, all that stuff. I required, because I have to sign that says I saw it. I required seeing his utility bill to make sure it had the physical address on there, and that's it. I want to make sure that's good. Okay, I just sent the link again because she was having difficulties getting her messages, so hopefully that will work for her now.
And then Brother T in our locals chat, who's always been a proud resident of Beaton, Ontario, the home of Sean Hartman.
Yeah, he was there last night.
A little late to the party this morning. Last night's screening of The Shot was more than enjoyable. For the full duration of the documentary, people were literally on the edge of their seats and didn't move for the full hour. So
and he's a filmmaker. Yeah, and he came up after, he even made a comment. He said it was well done, very well done. Then I kind of suggested maybe help us get some more distribution, get it out there, let us know how we can do that, because, well, he has a movie, at least one on Netflix.
He's got a couple of movies, yeah.
But at least one was on Netflix, so we'll see. Maybe he can make a phone call or two. And several DVDs were sold, and looking forward to tonight as well. All right, so this thing, I'm not sure if you've seen this, but this is part of the outfit for the Canadian Winter Olympic team. It looks like a blanket that's meant to be a jacket or a coat. There's no back to it. Like, it's just really odd. I'm not even sure. It looks like a sleeping bag. There you go. Looks like a sleeping bag. It's just really weird. Poncho. Like, I'm not even sure what this thing is. So my post here, because Savage, a good friend of ours, said, I can't stop laughing. What do you call this thing? And I says, it identifies as a coat. It doesn't have all the correct parts to be a coat. It won't keep you warm like a coat. And everyone knows it's not a coat. But hey, it identifies as one.
Oh, Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Yep. Some more posts here from Shauna herself about how lovely it was to finally meet some of these people that have been supporting her online, especially Dan. And yeah, I got some big hugs from her as well. And then she also got the big pharma salute photo as well. Just making it round. And that's it. That's what we got so far for you. So now we're waiting on Nadine to join us. I just sent her the link again. It's Nadine Ness from Saskatchewan. And no, it's not our guest or our supporter from Saskatchewan. This is the actual Nadine. Let's see where we're at here. Even on her laptop.
So, and Brother T added, one was showing on Amazon Prime, one on Tubi, both action dramas, not on Netflix, but thanks for the plug. There you go. So it's Amazon Prime is where we watch that movie, and then another
Yeah.
one's on Tubi. So we'll check that.
So let me see if I got her email address. Let's see if we can send it that way. She's showing me she's having computer problems. So I'm just going to mute for a quick second here, okay? And you go ahead and chat.
Yep. So just checking out some comments here regarding the coat. Canada hasn't had any Olympic wear that looks great in many years. We must hire the worst designers in this country, if they're even from this country, quite honestly. And one of the things that really bothered me back in the day, I can't remember which Olympics, Winter Olympics this was, but we had the first of all, the Bay was still around, so I'm kind of dating this. But they had the beautiful red, bright red mitts with the white maple leaf on them, and I was like, you know what, we're doing really well with and I was like, I'm gonna go get a pair, and I walked into the Bay, picked them up, and they were made in like Taiwan or China or something like that. I was like, how, where this is knitwear, how was this not manufactured in Canada? So I put them away. Like, it bothers me when something as simple as knitted mitts wasn't even made in our own country. And I think that's just symbolic of the things that something that's meant to represent Canada, to cheer for Canada, and represent, and it wasn't even made in Canada. So I found that really, really disappointing. And yes, Marianne, is plain ugly. Yeah, I don't know what that is. And again, it's art, but when it should be, a jacket or a coat, or there's something that they can be proud to wear. Just because you stick a maple leaf on something doesn't make it Canadian and something you really want to wear. So I really feel for the athletes, because yes, I'd agree, turning into a laughing stock. Hey, Nikki, it was lovely to meet you when did we meet? On Friday. Thank you very much for turning out to Leduc. It was great to see you. Just going to go through some of our other chats. And then from our local chat, I think the designers come from Montreal. They are a little out there. Yeah, I would think so. It's really disturbing when I see artists or designers trying to make a name for themselves instead of actually making a point of, hey, this is for our athletes, making it about them, the athletes, as opposed to about them, the designer or the artist. What's the word, Big Bird? You're there?
Yeah, her keyboard was in French, having lots of trouble, but we got it. We've typed it in. She should be able to just pop in now. I gave her the link over the phone, back to that old analog voice type of communication there. But yeah, I'm sure she'll share all that right now.
So in our locals chat, where can we watch the Leduc episode? There's only 1 minute intro to the locals. So tonight, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, you'll be able to watch the Leduc episode on all of our platforms, Facebook, X, Rumble, YouTube, and locals, because it's under 2 hours. So it should be there. So check it out tonight there.
So all you're seeing on the locals right now and on Rumble as well is just a please wait video, but it should have the time there. It should tell you when it's going to come on for you.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm really expecting her to pop in any moment now.
Yeah, and I'm just
Nadine
going
Ness
through.
has been on the show a couple times, and she's kind of panicking on her end. She's like, "Oh no!" She sent me a picture of her laptop screen, and she was having difficulties. So,
and then Carol, yes, most of Canadian industries have moved out of country. That's half our problem. I agree, but I would have hoped that knitted mitts could have been manufactured in Canada. But no, I do. Look, we're not the only country that's outsourcing. When they're paying pennies on the dollar it's always blown my mind that you can manufacture something halfway across the world, pay for the freight and shipping to bring it over, and overall it's still cheaper to have it produced out of country than in country. The fact that it's got to get on a tanker, getting a shipping container, make its merry little way over here, all that still makes it cheaper than if we were to produce it within the country. And I think that's something that's got to be worked on. I know, like, tool and die things, they cost money to produce, to set up that infrastructure. But yeah, it's disappointing to see how much manufacturing is not made in Canada and within other nations. And that's one of the things that I would say I would praise Donald Trump for. He is trying to make America great again. He is trying to bring back industry and manufacturing back to the US. Encourage that. Why isn't other nations doing that, including Canada? Alberta's trying, but we're being restricted from the East. So one more reason to sign that petition, my fellow Albertans.
One more reason. You sound like a musical. You got to listen to the Hamilton one again.
Well, the boys have been they've been listening to Hamilton for the last week or so. We even we listen to it on our drives. So there'll be a line that said North Sun will burst into song because it's the same line from the musical.
Mm-hmm.
We like to sing and have fun in our family, folks.
We do.
Yes,
It's been
we
in
do.
our blood ever since we met.
Yeah.
See what's going on with her. So let me just go mute again and see what's going on. She's
Okay.
not in here yet.
Okay. I'll just go through the rest of our chat. I can see there's a bit of a squirrel nuts Canada quit. There's a bit of Epstein talk. I'm going to leave that one alone. But Marianne, if you buy anything Canadian, it's double the price. Imagine just expensive to purchase anything Canadian. It is. I don't know. That's one of the things I just simply don't get. And then Darlene, all I ever seem to see on clothing is made in China. It's true. Manufacturing is coming from the Far East. From the Orient, if you want to still use that old term. And it is disappointing that we're not what is made in Canada? Because I know ever since the whole trade and tariff issues with the US, they've been stamping, made in Canada on all of our groceries to try and encourage sales there. But other than groceries, what else, if you guys can tell me, what else is manufactured in Canada that we, everyday use that we want to purchase and use? What's made here? Prairie supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Yes, that's a good one too. Technocrats. So let's see. Stacy, amazing how Hamilton's design for economics was tossed, of which would have made a better world. Shows how long ago we were corrupted. Yes. Agreed. Yes. Although I have to remind the boys that the plot line of Hamilton isn't exact. There is a lot of artistic license in there. But yes, the gist of the storyline is accurate, and what Alexander Hamilton contributed to the American economy. Now going through again, as we're just going through our chats. Not all. I sell several clothing brands made in Canada. Great to hear, Becky. So there is clothing manufactured in Canada. That's great to hear. So good. And then it looks like Granny, it looks like Canada is broke, missing the back of the jacket. Yeah.
That's the Alberta leaving jacket, right? There's a chunk missing now. All right, so Nadine sends her apologies. She's working on it. She's run into like every tech issue possible, but she's working through it. She's working through it. So she's got the right link, and what happened is she took down her studio to move things around, and now she's trying to rebuild it quickly and having troubles. And I still have that popcorn in my throat. I think it moved a bit, though.
Oh, my goodness.
Sorry.
Well, I'm getting to drink my witch's brew in peace, though, so that's been quite nice. You're away.
I can't smell it. I can't smell it. Maybe a little hint of it because there's a memory of it. Because yeah. All right. So on our end, good job with the chats. And yeah, sorry, we don't get into the Epstein or US and the other stuff as well, because quite frankly, who's got the time to dive into every subject? There's a lot of good people doing it. It kind of came up yesterday during the Q&A, only because the government of Canada is they are saying it's going to take 15 years to get through 3 million documents in order to provide information about vaccine injury. And that's the statutory maximum limit is 15 years to respond to that. And then I made the comment that the Epstein files is also 3 million documents. And what they did is just posted it online and let people go through it.
Yep.
So maybe that's what the government of Canada should do. But we got Nadine. Yay.
I think.
Tech genius you. How are you?
Yes, we see you.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Good.
Wonderful.
Oh my gosh, what a headache.
Hey, thanks for the persistence. I got to tell you, it was really cool to hear you saying, I'm trying this, I'm trying that.
Well,
Thanks, Nadine.
What happened was when I was in StreamYard, I had it X'd out or muted. So even though it was working, I couldn't see it.
Funky. So, they're trying everything to keep you off the show, huh?
Yeah. Well, even I couldn't sign in to X. I couldn't sign in. Like right now, I can't even access my messages through X. It's just like thinking. So I couldn't even access the link. And then I tried to put it into my browser, but my keyboard is French and it won't switch to English. So I had no, what's it called? The
Forward slash?
sideway bars. So I managed to grab it out of a web page that was already open that had one in the address link. So I figured it out.
You got there. And I had to give
Yeah.
it to you the old fashioned way. Charlie Echo Bravo 3.
Yeah.
And
I had
Paula,
to-
you'll be disappointed. I forgot the B. I forgot what B was. Bravo. I got
Bravo,
there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to
Well,
bring back
shame.
my old RCMP days.
Yeah. She's like, do I type Charlie? I'm like, no, C. And then we got through the rest of it, all lowercase. It helped. We had to go
Yeah,
back
it
to
worked.
analog days.
In the end.
But Nadine, thank you so much for making the persistence work. We got there in the end. That sounds very Saskatchewan, right? You just keep going till you get it.
Yeah, exactly.
How you been? We haven't seen you for a little while. At least your
I've been-
episode that we recorded with you yet, but I will in the very near future.
Oh, that's okay. I've been I didn't even notice, to be honest. I think when you were here last might have been the last time I did any episode. And there's a reason for that. And it's a God story and I can't take it out of it. So when I left Unified Grassroots, so some of your listeners may not know, I stepped down last July, and it was the Lord was directing me to step down. I didn't quite know why, and I didn't listen at first. And when you're not walking in His will, things get difficult. And then, so I had been doing nothing, and then the Charlie Kirk assassination happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like most people, we were really gutted by it and affected by it. But even more so, probably because I was a small version of what he was here in Saskatchewan. If you were to look at conservative activists, I probably would have been the closest thing. And it just the reality of what we're facing and what we could be facing if we keep fighting and fighting. And at the time, I just remember, okay, Lord, get me back in the ring. And I really wanted to get back in. And I ended up organizing the memorial in Saskatoon. We had about 1,200 people come. And even that was a God story. We got the exact donations given to the dollar of what it costs, like through different ways of donating, like, which was just insane. And so I'm like, okay, what do I do, Lord? And then I called a friend of mine who's been kind of a mentor of mine. He's from the US, and he's someone who's kind of a big name in the Republican kind of side. And he's someone that like knows how to handle big conversation with billionaires, donors and stuff. So he would be like one of my mentors that, and this is the first time I'm sharing this publicly. There is a reason why I haven't, but I'll get to that shortly. So I called him saying, like, I'm feeling a little lost. This guy's a Christian too. And I said, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. And I said, there are people starting Facebook groups with Turning Point Canada, but none of them have like went to Turning Point USA to see if they're okay with using their branding and stuff. And I didn't feel that was right. It wasn't honoring to Charlie and honoring to the organization he built. But anyways, I said, is that something we can do in an official capacity in Canada? And I didn't know this, but this guy who had been mentoring me was a huge mentor of Charlie's. And he actually was the first one who arranged his first big donation to get Turning Point off the ground. So he said, hey, I'm meeting with leadership next week. I'll bring your name to the forefront. So I ended up flying to Phoenix, Arizona. I met with Tyler Bowyer about potentially expanding into Canada in an official capacity. And the meeting went really well. It seemed really promising. But I think at that point, they were so overwhelmed with applications and stuff from the US that they, like a short few weeks after they decided they just wanted to focus on the US. It doesn't mean it wouldn't happen in the future. And I wasn't getting a release from the Lord. Like I could have came back, started a website, said, hey, we want to gauge the interest in this. Who wants to sign up, start chapters? Let's get the ball moving and then we'll see the momentum. But when I got back, the Lord was very adamant to to not say anything and not start anything, which if anyone knows me personally, they know patience is not one of the fruits of the spirits that I possess. I'm a doer, go, go, go.
Mhm.
So this was very difficult for me. And I couldn't even talk about it because that was one of the things. It's like, he's like, there's a wall to be built, but you're in the 3 days before Nehemiah starts the wall. So then in December, I was invited to go to AmFest. So, and given a ticket, I went to AmFest, and still I got back and nothing. So I'd like to say there's like big promising things I'm going to be a part of, but I'm in this waiting period and it's very uncomfortable. But I think the Lord is kind of working on me to grow in him so that I'm prepared for whatever is to come. So I don't think I'm going to be doing nothing. I just don't know what that is, and I don't want to move ahead of God as to what that is. So yeah, I came back and I've been kind of almost MIA from social media as part of that growth that I'm trying to do through the Lord, is spending less time on social media and more time with him. And I've been doing construction on our house too. So finally finishing our house. You were in our home.
Yep.
It wasn't finished.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So we've been, I have a whole like floor set up at 16 foot in the air scaffold in my living room because I was doing ceiling work. And I'm going to be putting brick on our fireplace. I already started. I'm just going to finish that. So I think God is like saying, let's wait till your house is done and then we'll get you on the next mission. But I don't know. I'd like to say it's going to be soon, but I really don't know. So,
Well, having a home is the foundation to everything else. So you'll have that done. And things always happen for a reason. So I'm really pleased to hear that you're taking those messages to heart and following them as well. And I can't imagine how, I'm not going to say frustrating because I don't think that's the correct term, but how excited you are about what's to come next, even though you don't know what it is, because you're definitely a doer. How are your chickens during this winter and your setup?
Well, winters are really, really tough for farmers.
Why I asked. Paula's at home while I'm in Ontario.
Oh,
She's taking care of ours. Yeah.
So we had a stretch of -40, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and all of our watering system. So something happened. We have heaters. We have a big water tank that's like 1,000 gallons and a bunch of piping that has like, they call it chicken nipples. So the chickens like peck at it and the water comes out. So it's an automatic watering system. We usually only have to get the hose out and fill it every 2 weeks. However, in the -40 stretch, we have 2 electrical inlet in, one for the lights and fan and one for all the heaters because it's too much for one outlet. We jimmied this. We don't have like a full barn. We just have a shipping container we turn into a coop and then extension cords leading to it. We're going to be building a barn. That's why we didn't do a whole electrical panel because it's just temporary. And so one of the cords went, the one that controls all the watering and the heating, and we didn't know because the lights were still working. And so all the pipes froze and busted. So for the last 2 weeks, we've been hauling 4 5-gallon pails of water. But we did reduce our flock. We had, I think, 250. So we're now down to about 150. But I have another 150 coming on June 1st. So, and they're younger. I got rid of all the old ones because they weren't laying very much. I was actually losing money. I was feeding them more than they were laying. So, and then that happens in winter too. Like in winter, you don't make much money. In summer too, you don't make much money. You have to love this in order to, and I love chickens. I really love chickens. So, but yeah, in June, I'm ordering, they're ready to lay. So they'll be laying within the first week or 2 that I get them. So they're like 19 weeks or whatever it is, like a couple weeks before they're usually to start laying. So I'm getting quite a few of those. So 150. But yeah, as for the rest, I told Jonathan I'm great with like getting cows and pigs and sheep and stuff, but I don't want to do what we did with the chicken and jimmy it. I want to have a full barn so that in -40, I'm not hauling for 4 big
Yeah. Yeah.
5-gallon pails of water. And the coop is not like right next to our house. It's like a good
No, it's not. It's a little walk.
yeah, a little walk. Exactly. So, but yeah,
Well,
no, it's been good. I have stores that carry my eggs now too, so it's less
Yay.
delivery. So I just deliver to the store. So that's good. But yeah, I'd like
That's
to give you
fantastic.
like
Well
some
done.
big fun announcement. I just don't have any. And it's not that I don't want to like get back in the seat. It's just I need to wait on what the Lord is saying. And he's clearly saying not to. So it's not like I'm just being lazy and don't want to, although I haven't been lazy. I've been working my butt off finishing the house, but still. And it's hard to like even just going on social media if you're not doing anything, it's hard to like I see all these things and it makes me want to get back in the fight even stronger, but I can't. So I'm like fine, I'm just going to get off social media because this is too hard. So, but I do sense something big is coming and I don't know what, but a lot of people who are strong believers feel this too, like something big is coming this year. And we're going to have to be ready for it. And I don't know what that is. We can get conspiratorial and New World Order. It's not really a conspiracy since Mark Carney is now saying it. But I feel like something big is coming and I just don't know what. And that's when we'll know, okay, this is it. This is what we're going to be battling or doing.
Well, if you're looking at the Alberta politics, that something big could be independence. We got that referendum coming up in October. But before we jump there, you used to be big in the movement in Saskatchewan. And now there's another group, Brad Williams with the Saskatchewan Prosperity Project. I know you haven't paying a lot of attention to it, but I'm sure you're familiar with some of the sentiment in Saskatchewan about leaving. Do you think that's growing as Alberta is moving ahead to referendum? Do you think Saskatchewan's growing?
I'll tell you what my thoughts are. I think the sentiment for separation is actually higher in Saskatchewan than Alberta. This is what I honestly think. However, the will to want to actually organize and do something about it is almost knocked off a bit because we don't have the avenue that you guys have in Alberta. So, and this is a big problem. And this is why we, like when I went and did a bunch of town halls in Saskatchewan, I educated people on what we needed to do in order to be able to influence to get the same kind of option here in Saskatchewan. Like we don't have a referendum option. We have a plebiscite, which is just a question. It holds no weight. It means nothing. A referendum could only be done if the current government was to do one, which might happen if Alberta separates. So if Alberta does it, there's going to be so much more pressure for Saskatchewan to go, and then our elected officials might be willing to do it. Now, there are ways to be able to make that happen even before. However, the problem we have is the people in Saskatchewan are not willing to show up where it matters. So I'll give you an example. We had our convention for the SAS party. It would have been last fall, just before Christmas. And we were telling people to get a ticket, show up, vote for like things that you want. And like kind of like Take Back Alberta did. Well, Take Back Alberta got like double the amount of people the first year, the second year even more, the third year even more. I think we had an increase of 200 out of 600, which is not, you're not going to affect change if you're not willing to show up to these kinds of things. So I think until Saskatchewan is willing to show up and organize, we might not see the changes that you're seeing in Alberta. You have a lot of motivated people in Alberta, but you also have a lot of money towards this in Alberta versus Saskatchewan. It's not as cut and dry. We don't have as much of the Alberta money that you guys have, but I'm really glad that there is an organization kind of stepping up to the plate And I don't want to say anything bad either about Unified Grassroots, but when I left, which I kind of had an idea that was going to happen. There was no like leader that kind of stepped up in order to take that along. I don't even know if they've determined a leader, like a president for the organization yet. A lot of the work that was being done was being kind of pushed by me. That's why it was so all consuming and so much work. But I'm glad to see, because that didn't kind of take off. Even after I left, it almost whittled down a little bit. I'm seeing a lot more work now, which is really good. But I'm glad that there's another organization that have stepped up to the plate to kind of move that along. I do think we're going to see a massive move in Alberta, and I honestly believe the numbers are higher than what the polls are saying.
Yep.
And that's the people who are sure of the decision. The people who are unsure, all it needs to take is continuing that educating campaign, the door knocking to answer question. I think we're going to have more people go towards separation once they kind of get their fear, I guess, dwindled down with the questions being answered. So I do think that that's something big that's happening in Alberta, but I think it's something else that's coming. I just don't know what. So yeah, my husband and I, some people may not know, my husband's from Alberta. Like the family farm is just on the Alberta border, just by Oyen. So we do have an attachment to Alberta anyways, because that will eventually be my husband's farm, him and his sister. So we do have some attachment there. He's like, should we move to Alberta if it separates?
That could be the big move. Build a barn in Alberta.
Yeah. Well, we already have tons of barns in Alberta. But
maybe you're getting some messages freezing your pipes.
Yeah. We would need to, there's watering system there. Although the farming mindset, I think, of my husband's family farm is like, do as little as you can when you can. And I'm more I don't want to be panicking when it's -40. Let's plan this carefully ahead of time and spend a little bit more money to do it. But yeah, he's asked, would you move to Alberta if Alberta separates? I said, well, if Alberta separates, we need to get Saskatchewan there. But yeah, I don't know. And some of this is like myself kind of pushing this idea. It's not me seeking the Lord as to what he wants. So I haven't had to make a decision really, but part of me just wants like warmer weather. If we're going to move, can we move somewhere where we can grow stuff year round and not have pipes freeze?
I understand that sentiment.
I agree.
For sure. Yeah, Paula knows this as well, because we live out of a well, and it's not underground yet. We didn't finish a house, so we have to keep that thing warm year round, and make sure that our animals can get it. And that's why Paula has to stay back, because we can't leave. If we leave and the power runs out, things will freeze almost right away. So thanks to Paula, she knows your plight for sure, and absolutely think something big is coming. Of course, on this side of the border, well, I'm in Ontario right now, but on that side of the border in Alberta, I think that that's what it is. Now, if we come back with 1 million plus signatures on that petition, which is over 5 times what's required, and that's basically the population of Saskatchewan. So if there's a population of Saskatchewan that's signing the petition for a referendum, do you think that might wake people up in Saskatchewan and get them at the polls? Because you now have 3 organizations. Unified Grassroots, Saskatchewan Prosperity Project, you got Prairie Rising, you got three organizations working out there.
Which petition are you talking about?
The one we're doing right now. So the petition to get the referendum. So that's what we're working on right now.
In Alberta.
Yes.
Okay,
So if there's 1 million people that signed that, do you think that might wake Saskatchewan up a bit more?
Has there been 1 million signatures?
We don't know the number, but that's the goal. We need 177,000. So getting the million is about 6 times that requirement. And if we do get it, do you think that will wake some people up? Because that will be early May when we get those numbers out.
Yeah. I think I think even just the momentum that people are seeing, that people are coming together in Alberta, is having an effect with Saskatchewan already. I do think that's happening because I mean it's having an effect on me and my husband. We're like, okay, let's move on this in Saskatchewan. We don't want to be left behind, kind of thing. So I do think it would show it to become even more of a reality,
Mhm.
especially with like out of 5 million, not everyone's eligible to vote. Not everyone shows up to vote to begin with. So, but there's another aspect too. You guys also have an election coming up. It's not just a referendum.
Elections
So,
2027. So the
oh, it's
Yeah.
referendum,
2027. Oh, so it's
yeah,
not this year. Oh, I
no,
thought it was
No.
going to be at the same time as the election.
no. The
See?
election is October 2027. The referendum should be October 2026.
Oh, okay. Are they putting other things with the referendum or just the
No,
referendum?
this will just
Yeah.
be in this question. So
Oh.
there'll be nothing else tacked on.
I thought they had said, like, maybe back then that they were gonna do it at the same time as the election, but now that the petition is happening and stuff, it's moving it sooner maybe? I don't
So
know
I
how
had
I thought
Danielle
that.
Smith on the show and we talked about this.
Yeah.
Some of the questions that she was talking about bringing forward as a referendum question out of the Alberta Next panel, the main one being the Alberta pension plan. She said there's going to be a lot more studying this year about that before she brings it forward as a referendum. And I suspect the 2027 election, some of those Alberta Next panel questions will come forward there. But this is going
Okay.
to be a year after the independence referendum. And what I think is going on is they want an answer to that referendum question before they really start doing other things. Because if it
Yeah.
turns out to be a yes, well, then they got their marching orders. They got to go to Ottawa,
Yeah.
negotiate or exit. But if it becomes a no, well, then they can kind of get back to business and put that question aside for 5 years. So I think on Danielle Smith's side of things, she's moving some things along. And all of it looks like it's going to be either more sovereignty inside of a unified Canada or an independent Alberta. All the things she's talking about, like the police force, pension
Mhm.
plan, taxation, shutting down services for non-citizens, like a lot of these things are happening in tandem to the petition and the campaigning for independence. Because whether we zig or zag, we still want this stuff. So
Mhm.
it looks like
Mhm.
2027 might be when that referendum is going to come up for those items. But in 2026, she was clear on my show. Nothing's going to come forward other than the referendum for independence.
Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. There was a big discussion, I think it was this week on X. If you're for separation in Alberta, do you still support like the current political party? I don't know if you remember seeing that question. And it goes in line with what you're saying is some of us our main goal separation? Probably. But if that doesn't happen, we still want a better future for our province.
Mhm.
So we still want to go towards those kind of other goals like Danielle Smith is doing in order to kind of make ourselves in a better position for negotiating with Alberta or even just influencing Alberta politics. But at the same time, we're not putting all our eggs in just that basket. We're
Pun
still going
intended
to
from
have
a
to,
chicken
yeah,
farmer.
no pun intended. But we're still going to want change towards that direction over time. Like even with Quebec, the sentiment grew over time, right? It wasn't
Mhm.
just an overnight thing. So if we can prepare ourselves to be better in a better position with less fear, less unanswered questions, like putting an Alberta pension plan or having our own police force, the more we kind of detach ourselves from Ottawa and become more self-sufficient, the more we are in a position to make better decisions for ourselves and not
Yep.
decisions out of fear. But yeah, the reason I talk about this is like I know there was I'm going to bring this subject up because it's kind of controversial, but there was the CPC convention that last weekend. I'm going to talk about
Kind
it
of
because I'm pissed
controversial.
off.
Yes.
I'm pissed off. I
Yeah.
was denied. So even though I've been a bit MIA I still have my business. I still have my show's business. And I was given press passes to go to conferences, CPAC in America. It was never an issue.
Mhm.
But I applied for a press pass with the CPC and they denied me, but they didn't give me a reason.
Me
So
too.
they denied you too?
Yeah, in fact, you kind of named a couple that I get as well. I get CPAC. They have me on the media list, so I can go down there. I
Yeah.
got the UCP government, AGM, the last 2 years, media. I am an accredited media out of Calgary in the independent press gallery. There we go. We
So
got
what was
there.
your reason
But
for
they
denying?
didn't give me one. They just completely ignored me.
Oh, see, they ignored me. So I emailed a bunch of people. Can you let me know? I want to know if I need to drive down there or not.
Mhm.
And I can't remember who answered. He says that you've been denied. And for me, it really bothered me because I've helped them a lot in Saskatchewan over the last few years, like nonstop help them. So I would even be considered an ally. So the fact that I've been denied, so I can't help but think it's only because of the separation issue. I want Saskatchewan to have a better deal at the table. So, and if that's not going to happen, yeah, separation is something that I want to happen because I don't want my province to go down the drain the same way the rest of Canada is going. So it's at a sheer self-preservation for our province. But this idea that they need to alienate the separatists in either Saskatchewan or Alberta, to me is so unreal, considering the majority of their voter base in Alberta and Saskatchewan are separatists.
Yeah, 100%.
So
And we like to use the term sovereignist because because
yeah.
that's what we want. We want sovereignty. And if the
Yeah.
vote comes back as a no, we still want sovereignty. Like we're not
Yeah.
actually changing our position. We're going to keep fighting for sovereignty, whether we're in or outside of Canada. And I think that's the case because there was even a post of a gentleman who paid $1,000 to get in there, and he got turned around at
heard
the
that.
door because he is a sovereignist / separatist, and he even paid to get in there. Now, the way they did it this year was they reached out to people and said, we want you there, and offered, free media passes or influencer passes. Those were the two different types that they offered. And even Ezra Levant, I heard, had trouble getting in. He eventually got in, but at the beginning, there was no pass for him either. So yeah, they're being very selective on who they wanted there. Maybe more the rah type of people for a PR that maybe showed the rah during the federal election. But I don't think they should be doing that. They should be welcoming anybody that wants to come, especially if you are media and you have a history of media, because that's it's a worse look now after the fact. Rachel Parker was from True North. She's doing her own thing too. She got denied. And it's just kind of frustrating. And a lot of the people that are, for Pierre push back on us by saying, well,
I'm one of those
you're not
people.
entitled.
I'm one of those people that's for Pierre. I helped him out last election. And that's the thing. Like, out of any people in the Conservative Party, I do think he's the strongest leader. I've always been a fan of him since before he even ran for the leadership campaign. I helped him out in his leadership campaign. So, but just because I'm a separatist, that's the only thing I could think of. But at the same time, I'm not a bootlicker. As in, if I think Pierre is screwing up, I will say it publicly that he's screwing up, because I want us to have a chance at having a good, productive country. This whole anti-American thing that he jumped on the bandwagon last election, I think was actually a huge mistake.
Yeah.
And I know why he did it. He recognized that TDS in Canada is massively a problem, which it is. It's all mainstream media talks about is American politics and Trump. And however, he burned the bridges and he burned the opportunity of showing himself as the right person to negotiate with Trump the same way. What's his name that negotiated with Ronald Reagan? I'm having a brain fart. Our prime minister.
I can't remember the name at the time.
His son is like a news person.
Oh, Mulrooney.
Mulrooney. Yeah. He did it through a good relationship with the US. And that's the thing, whether we like it or not, we don't have the chips to negotiate at this table that we think we do. The only way we're going to get a good deal is if a relationship is built and goes well, where we kind of convince them to treat us well. Like, really, in reality, that's just what we're dealing with, whether we want to admit that or not. And unfortunately, there's too many Canadians that don't see the reality that we're in because they know nothing about our economy or GDP or how the whole Canada function economically. So they think, oh, we're just going to do elbows up, when in fact, like, it's hurting us more than anything. It's not hurting them. We need them way more than they need us.
Yeah, and
that's
that's the same attitude in Alberta, that Ottawa needs us way more than we need them. So there's a lot of these relationships fracturing.
True.
And it would have been good during the election. Look, I ran for the PPC, but I'm honest. I even criticized the PPC recently for some of the moves they made, but I'm very honest. If Pierre would have went down to the Joe Rogan show and the other podcast, was very welcoming to the U.S., say, look, we actually want to work with you. We want to rebuild these relationships, trade, supply management, and some of these other security issues that you have. We actually want to work. I think that would have went over quite well for his supporters, and he would have did quite well on, because then at least it would have been different. The election would have been, do you want to fight Trump or do you want to work with Trump?
It's not even just for his supporters. Like, it's a fact in Canada, we don't have like the massive big voices. Like, we have Jasmine Lane, but even that's a more recent thing. We don't have massive voices, like alternative media voices, like the US has. So a lot of Canadians, to keep up with like conservative issues, or even the young people, listen to Joe Rogan, listen to stuff online. Like, they don't sit and watch TV like their parents do. So the fact that he and this is something, it's one of the only, like, not the only thing, but it's one of the things I was critical of. I think it's making a big mistake, because in general, Canadians watch American podcasters, American show creators, and not going on those things or avoiding those things alienated a sector of the voting bloc that will only have access to that information. And maybe they are conservative already, but they're just not motivated to go vote. Like, that's one of our biggest issues. There's a lot of people who are conservative who just don't show up to go vote. They don't want to leave the house and wait for hours. But maybe them seeing Pierre on Joe Rogan would have said, you know what? I want to go vote for that guy because I want him to win. And the reality of it is, if you look at the sheer numbers alone, that could have made a difference between them forming government or not. If you look at the close ridings, some of them were like in under 100 decided if it was going to go conservative or liberal. So when you think about avenues like that, you should do whatever you can to access as many people as possible. And not only that, how many undecided voters might have seen a Joe Rogan clip where Pierre would have been funny and charismatic, and it might have swayed that undecided vote that ended up going for Carney because they didn't really know much about Pierre going right. So I think it was a mistake. And I said it publicly on Twitter. So, but you know what? This should be something that's looked at and admired, instead of people that are just loyal to a party constantly. Like, my values, my set of morals doesn't change because a party goes in a certain direction. My set of moral values and ethics are pretty solid. They might change over time if I'm convinced I'm wrong. But what I'm saying is, if a certain political party goes in a certain direction and it still doesn't fit, I'm going to say, I think you guys are making a mistake. Yeah. And I'm more loyal to my God than I am to any political party. So do I still think they are the best option? Yes. And Jason, you and I have talked about that. I'm not a fan of the PPC, although I will say you and Shay from Saskatchewan are two that I really like, but my experiences with other ones have not been great, to the point where I've had to block many. And I know your listeners probably not going to like this, but I've had run-ins with some that just were so controlling and not good that anyways. But
no,
if
that happens. That happens even to me. Like, when I joined the party, there was a segment of the PPC what we call the bros, they were very hostile towards me, very hostile. They
Oh,
wanted
really?
complete loyalty. You cannot step away from anything.
Mm.
But my relationship with Maxime Bernier was so strong that when he asked me to run for the party, I said, listen, I will be critical of the PPC when I believe it's necessary. And he said, Jason, your integrity is why we're asking you to run. Don't change a thing. You do your thing. Don't worry about anything else. And there's no whip and they don't control you. So he allowed me that freedom. But there is a group that demands 100% loyalty. And recently, because of the CPC convention, the PPC party put out a post attaching the influencers
I saw
to
that.
the policy decision. And I denounced that immediately. I was critical of that immediately because that's the wrong thing to be doing.
Mhm.
We don't like it when they do it to us. They come after me as a media guy because of what PPC says. That's not fair. I'm an individual and I report on things. So I was critical of that. Thankfully, they took that down. And I'm seeing Maxime today. Like, he's going to be in Ottawa today. So the core PPC, Maxime and the people around him, like guys like me because we are independently minded and very strong. But there is a PPC bro group that is hostile even to me.
See, I'm going to be critical of Maxime here. A good leader would address this and not just ignore it. So when they screwed up, they took it down, but was there any public statement done that this was not good? It shouldn't have been done. This doesn't reflect us. Like, I've seen so much bad behavior from the PPC, but it never gets addressed. So that's part of why I'm not a supporter of Maxime, because I don't think he has the leadership quality and I'm just being honest, to lead a party that I would be willing to join just for that simple fact alone. Look, and I don't think Pierre is perfect either, but there is a sect of the PPC that has become extremely destructive and toxic, and there's been no addressing that. And that's my problem with that. And I've been, because I won't support them, they've constantly come after me. So that's the other thing. Just because somebody doesn't support you doesn't mean you need to go attack all the time. Like, especially when my whole mission is to advancing like Christian agenda, like advancing Christian ideas or godly ideas, conservative ideas. And I don't mean conservative as a political party. I just mean conservative as what that word meaning is, because we've all seen conservative parties not be very conservative, so
Right.
especially during COVID.
No,
But
I don't feel like I'm defending myself with this next
Yeah.
statement, but the PPC bros don't have a monopoly on that behavior.
Yeah.
The CPC bros came at me hard too, simply because I was running for the PPC. People who were my colleagues had them on my show. I was on their stuff. We all did all this kind of stuff together. Came at me pretty hard. Those bridges have been rebuilt since the election. So there's a ways to turn this around. And I think the most ideal thing to do is stay conservative, stick to your morals, like you highlighted there, and then find all that common ground. So, in April, I had some relationships kind of end, but they've been rebuilt since then. So I don't think the PPC has a monopoly on that.
No.
I even had NDPers come at me, liberals come at me. I think they all have it. But what you're responding to is the same thing I responded to is, well, there's one group that seems to be predominantly coming at me. And for me, it was the CPC. For you, it was the PPC. But at the end of the day, we're all conservatives, and I think we can find ways to move things forward. I'm going to throw it to you for a bit, and then I want to get to our private section with you, so we can dig down even deeper, because we've run really long, because we wanted to give
sorry,
our audience.
I didn't
No,
know.
no. Don't be sorry at
Okay,
all. Don't be sorry
okay.
at all. I just have to jump on the road shortly to get myself to Ottawa to get ready for my next show.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll throw it to you, and then we'll go to our private section with our supporters, and we'll chat a bit more there.
Okay, sure.
You want to say goodbye to Alberta and the rest of Canada? Maybe some PPCers who are watching?
Are most of your listeners in Alberta then?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Alberta and then Ontario is where the largest groups are.
We need to get you more listened to in Saskatchewan. I should have streamed this to my audience, but with all the technical issues, I had a hard time. So what I'll do, I'll share it after the fact. So,
sounds good.
Yeah, everyone, good luck in Alberta. Keep going. Saskatchewan's kind of riding on your coattails. So if you fail us, it's not just failing you guys, you fail us too.
We'll take that on for sure. And I don't know what
Yeah.
your calendar looks like for April 11th, but we're going to be doing a large event in Red Deer. You'd be welcome to come hang out with us. April 11th, you'll make that drive. Don't worry, you'll get a media pass. You're already on the list. We'll make sure you're good to go. Okay. But hang on, Nadine. I'm just going to jump
Sure.
over to the public for a bit. We're going to do our goodbye, and then we'll come speak
Okay.
to you some more. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Excellent. Well, there you are, babe. Tech
Yep.
gods got in her way. Couldn't get the // had to copy and paste it. We had to do Charlie Bravo Alpha Tango to get her in there, but she made it in the end. Looked great, sounded great. So it was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
And by the way, you'd be
exactly.
happy to know the popcorn piece has moved. It's now here.
Woo!
Making its way down the throat now.
But no, it was good to see her again, and we're not having any technical glitches. You can go ahead and subscribe to the Levine Show, and then you can also join us in the supporters area where we're going to be heading to next.
Absolutely.
And then for those,
go ahead.
I was going to say, and then for those who want to check out the screener, you can go ahead to supportshawn.ca, because tonight you will be in Ottawa. Tomorrow is Peterborough.
Peterborough,
then
then
we're-
Whitby, and then Hamilton, and then finishing Friday in Oakville.
Yep.
Yeah. And remember, there are tickets available at the door. A lot of people showed up to buy tickets at the door.
Yeah.
This particular group likes to deal with cash. Cash is king. So go ahead and do that at the door. There should be plenty of seats in Ottawa. But I'm already packed up because I'm literally going to run out the door and get on that road because it's a 5-hour drive from here.
Yeah, and I'm going to literally be running out to go deal with some farm animals. But everyone, thank you for joining
No
us.
frozen broken
and
pipes for you?
touch wood, no. I had to put the heater on because we had minus temperatures overnight. So the heater was on to keep the hoses thawed. So I'll be dealing with that, feeding the horses, the steer, the pigs, the cats, the chickens.
Yeah,
All of
and
the above.
I think we equally frustrated some CPC and PPC watchers. We're not trying to frustrate you. We're trying to tell you the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Our integrity is high, just like Nadine's. And yeah, we're not attacking anybody, but we are highlighting that we do get attacked. And I get attacked from both. It happens all the time.
Everyone have a fantastic day. See you tomorrow morning. Bye from me.
Love you all very much, and God bless.